So today it wasn't a crazy day. Like, my day is still pretty much happening. It's only 3:50 in the afternoon. But what I wanted to come on here and talk about was just patience, okay? Like, just patience and understanding the balance between really wanting something and trying to make sure every step you take allows you to get there and accomplish that, while still being patient and accepting the fact that you don't know what every day is going to look like in order for you to achieve that. You know what I mean? Like, I am a behavior technician. I'm in the field of working with individuals who have autism. Specifically right now, I'm working with kids, and that's my priority and the path I'm leading to become a board certified behavior analyst, the BCBA. Sorry. Wow. I'm trying to decipher if that was the enemy trying to block me from talking about God's glory, or if that was God telling me to shut up. That was crazy, because like, I'm gonna keep talking because God is good. So that's a snapshot of my career path and what I'm doing work-wise right now. And later on, I'll make a dedicated video about all of that, because I love it so much and I think it's so fun to talk about. I'm really knowledgeable in that area. Like, to have something you're good at and you're knowledgeable in, and you can talk about it with such confidence and all that, like, it's just fun to talk about. So we'll get there, but for right now, that's just a snapshot. And I started working with this agency that basically places behavioral class aides into schools for one-to-one support in classrooms for kiddos with autism and other developmental disabilities. And last week on Friday, I got a call that I was actually placed onto a full-time assignment with a kid Monday to Friday, 8 to 3. And I was like, this is perfect, because for one, I've been wanting to change my location of work. Not like leave where I currently work, like my main job, but just change of environment, because the agency I have been working with since last year, since 2024, actually. Wow, it's almost 2 years. They're basically only clinic and home-based work. So I don't get to see anything outside of the clinic or the home, which is fine, but it can get pretty mundane. And especially with home cases, there's just a lot of different layers to providing a service in a child's home. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different factors that go into that, and the client's growth is really like, it has its layers to that as well too, like how well they're going to retain your service and stuff like that, different triggers and different learned behaviors that happen when you're there versus when you're not there. Like, it's a very big sandwich, all right? A sandwich with a lot of layers. So I am the type of person where I cannot stay in one place for too long, especially if I don't feel like there's a lot of Like, if the dynamic isn't constantly changing or changing enough to switch up the flow of the work that I do, it gets to the point where I'm like, I need something different. Does that make sense? So rather than leaving and jumping from this job to a different job and just discarding my client because I feel like I need something different, I just took on another agency. Because working with kids, like, you're never going to work more than you need to, which is one of the pluses. Like, you are either working a school day or you're home by 7:30, 8 p.m. Like, there's never a day where you're literally exhausted because you're working too much. You just probably get exhausted because of the mental and emotional gymnastics you have to go through every single session, dependent on the client's behavior. Okay, so with all of that being said, I applied to this agency. They place behavioral class aides into schools, and I was like, this is perfect because I've been looking for something different, right? So they gave me this full-time case, and I was like, this is perfect, exactly what I was looking for. Morning hours, 8 to 3. I still get to work with my client. I'm making double the amount of money for the same amount of pay that I'm getting with my client, and it's perfect. It's going to fund my move to Florida at the end of the year, and I can still pick up per diem shifts at my other group home job, and everything is going to be perfect. Everything is going to work out, and it's going to be great. I literally don't have to do anything extra other than waking up and going to work from 8 to 3. Like, that's really the only thing, and I get up around that time anyway. So I was like, all right, this is perfect. I'm so excited. So I get there today, and other than the fact that it was a half day and they had parent-teacher conference, the student was discharged from the school and was placed into another district that was farther away from where this current school was. And now I'm like, dag, like, I was so excited. I was like, everything is gonna work out. Like, I had everything set up and planned for this to literally fund my entire move by July. Like, I was going to have more than enough money than I had planned on saving in my high yield savings account for this move, and I was like, this is perfect. Like, not only am I just getting something new at work, and I'm doing something that I love doing, and I'm working with a new kid, and I'm putting myself in new areas, and I'm meeting new people and stuff like that, but like, this is literally going to help me do everything I want to do as far as like moving back to Florida. But now that this student is no longer here, like, I just lost all of that. So like, what am I gonna do? And like, me last year I would have spiraled. Like, I would have been fixated on it all day. I would have been looking at different jobs on Indeed, trying to figure out, like, all right, how many per diem shifts do I need to pick up, and how many days of Instacart do I gotta do to make up this amount of money, and XYZ. Like, I would have thought myself into an anxiety-induced spiral that would have caused me so much agony and stress that it was not going to be good, and my whole day was pretty much going to be ruined because of that. And that's something that I used to do so much. Like, I definitely have a thing with control, and when I feel like I've lost control of something that I've put a lot of thought into and a lot of planning into, it stresses me out when it doesn't happen the way I want it to happen, or the way I thought it was about to unfold once the gear started moving in that. So I was like, it's okay. I was lucky enough to get placed into another classroom regardless of the fact that the student wasn't there, and I still worked half the day, whatever. And then I got home, and I'm like, what, it's fine. Like, I'm just gonna let it be what it is, and hopefully they find something else for me, and we'll see what happens. And it was a lot easier to talk myself off of that ledge, to not spiral, because I have found the Lord, and I'm not in a place where I can say I fully surrendered and I am at the altar there, and I'm not there, but I'm working on getting there. And one of my other big goals of this year is to get baptized, and to really fully surrender myself and be immersed in the Word and be immersed with my faith, and to walk with God, and do everything like that. But right now I'm in a season of consistency, and I'm in a season of patience, and just showing up, and I told myself this is the year I'm surrendering my life. Like, every decision I make, even though I feel like I'm not where I would like to be with my faith, I know that God meets me where I'm at every single day, every single moment. And anything I do, it concerns Him first. Is this according to God's will? Is this what I'm doing? Is what I'm doing going to satisfy Him and the walk of life that I'm trying to work towards? You know what I mean? So it was a lot easier to calm myself down, because I'm like, I trust God to literally be in the driver's seat and take me to a place that I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there. I don't know if I'm going to have time to stop for a break to use the bathroom. I don't know. Like, I'm literally on a road trip that will last a lifetime, and I will never know what my destination would ever be. And that's how I feel like my walk with Christ is right now. Like, I just need to sit back and trust and just let God, because I do have a problem with control, and me not having control over this situation is not going to be the end of the world. Like, my life is not over because I don't have this full-time gig. Like, I have other ways to make that money, and I had planned to make that money other ways, but the fact that I got this agency job just made it that much easier, because I didn't have to exert myself the way I was going to have to exert myself before. You know what I mean? So it was just more convenient, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's easier. I'm gonna do that, easy peasy lemon squeezy. But yeah, so I just dropped my mom off at work, and I'm driving to my client now, and I was just thinking, like, I literally need to call the agency just to see what's going on, just to see what is happening here. I don't want to stress myself out, but I also don't want to sit here idle and just assume that they're taking care of things, and they may not be, So I called, and they said that they were going to call the school back and check for an update, and they'll call me back. Literally, after I got off that call, I just prayed and thanked God for all that He's done for me, because I would not have been in this position to calmly and effectively thank Him and worship Him and glorify His works, if it hadn't been for the promise I made to Him that I would keep Him first in all that I do. And with me doing that, I'm seeing the fruits of that. And every day is not perfect. I fall short, and I don't do everything that I'm supposed to do, but the fact that I constantly put God first, and I constantly hope to please Him with what I'm doing, I feel like He's seeing me, and it feels good. It feels refreshing, and it feels reassuring to know that I'm walking appropriately for where my life is right now. You know what I mean? And that's not a place to be like, oh yeah, I'm bragging, or I'm boasting or prideful, but once you get to a place where you can fully accept that God is moving in your life, and He is controlling everything for you, and you are just being obedient, and you are consistent, and you are showing up in the way that best suits you, you are going to constantly and always hear Him, always feel Him, always seek Him, and always ask him for things and, tell him things and place your anxieties and your worries and your fears onto him, because that's what he wants us to do. He wants us to be obedient. He wants us to ask him, to seek, to knock on doors, to be loud in our prayer, to be bold, to be persistent. Like, if you tell God you want a 2029 Bronco matte black with gold rims and cherry red seats, like, you ask God for that every single day, and then you live your life and you do what you have to do as a Christian and as his daughter, and you put in that work and you're consistent and you're obedient, you're listening and you're absorbing and you're reading your word, you're doing what you have to do, as imperfect or as perfectly as it comes for you and where you are in life. As long as you're doing that, but you keep asking him, he will fulfill that. Like, God would never tell us no. He'll always redirect us, and if it's a no now, it might be a yes later, but it's going to be based on where you are in life. And it's crazy for us to try and dictate what our life will be like when we don't even know God's thoughts. We don't know what he has planned for us. We don't know what he's working on in the shadows, like, we don't know what he's doing that we can't see. The only thing we have is our faith in him and trust and the ability to just be obedient and to listen and to seek and to study his word and to do all these things that are literally at the palm of our hands. And once we do that, we start aligning ourselves with him, and the more we are aligned, the more we are moving in the path that he wants us to be on. So with all of that being said, I literally just had to stop and pray, because I'm like, I'm grateful that I am at a place now where I can literally sit and have these conversations with God, and I can pray and just expel myself to him, and just say what's on my mind, to say I'm scared, to say I'm happy, I'm worried, I'm anxious, but like, I trust you, and I know that this feeling's temporary, and you're going to do exactly what you have planned for me. And whether it's good or bad, I trust that you have a plan for me, because the feeling of me moving to Florida is something that consumes me. Like, it sounds crazy, but me moving to Florida is something that I know is supposed to happen for me. Like, I've never felt so strongly about something ever before in my life, and this just feels right. It feels good. It feels like I'm actually working towards something that is going to really push me into a different lane. Like, I lived in Florida before, but this time it's different. This time I'm coming back with God right next to me. This time I'm coming back with more knowledge and wisdom than I ever had before. This time I'm coming back with lessons learned and more strength and discernment and discipline than I had the last time I lived on my own when I was out there. So me walking through this year with God by my side, literally controlling everything that I do and driving in the driver's seat, like, I feel so aligned with that decision. Like, me moving to Florida is something that is happening for me. I know it. So when things don't go according to what I felt like should have happened, it kind of stresses me out, and it kind of gives me anxiety, because I'm like, is this you saying no? Is this you redirect me to something different? But like, I know I shouldn't be redirected, because I know this is what you want from me. I know you want me to go back to Florida. I know what happened before, but like, that's not what's gonna happen now. Like, I've learned, and I'm still learning, and I'm being pushed to be someone different, and I feel different. Like, everything's different now. So what is happening? But not everything is meant to go the way you think it's gonna go, because again, we don't know God's thoughts. So me having anxiety is normal, but me calming it down and saying, God, I trust you, and I'm just thankful for everything that you have done for me. That's the difference, and that's where the alignment happens. And the alignment is being being pruned and worked on even more and even more, because now you're physically and verbally telling God, I see you, I hear you, and I know I can acknowledge what you've done for me, and I can acknowledge what you're going to do for me. So it all just makes sense. And I was just really thankful. And right as I'm in this prayer, they call me and they tell me that they're going to prioritize me for a full-time case, that they didn't hear back from the district, but they're going to prioritize me for a full-time case, and they're also going to prioritize me for per diem shifts. And they put me onto 2 shifts for tomorrow and Wednesday. I'm not sure about Thursday yet, but I'm still working this week the same way I planned to be working had I not had this client been discharged. And that's just the glory of God. That's just God saying, I know this didn't work out, but it's okay. I got something else planned for you, and I just need you to be patient with me. Okay, just be patient. Don't take things into your own hands just because you don't like how this is looking right now. It's okay. Trust the process. Our hair always looks ugly before it gets cute. Our nails always look ugly before it gets cute, before you put that design on, okay? The outfit always looks ugly until you put on the right shoe and the right accessories, okay? So I try to lead with that more and more and more, and I just want to be the voice that tells you, if you're literally praying for something, or you're planning for something big in your life, and you need and you have your shortcomings, and you have your characteristics that prevent you from fully embracing life and embracing the unknown, just trust that God is working for you. Whether you believe in God, you believe in the universe, the stars, your ancestors, your spirits, whatever, just trust that everything is working out in your favor, because we are all supposed to win. We're all winners. We all have everything lined up for us to be great, but it's up to us to live a life that leads us to that alignment so that we can get all those things. You know what I mean? And when you do it the right way according to you and your lifestyle, what works for you, because everyone is different. There is no right way, but there's a right way for me, there's a right way for you. We could both be walking straight, but if I have to walk straight and then hop after 2 steps, my direction is still straight. And if you have to skip to walk straight, you're still walking straight. It feels right to both of us, but we're still going in the right direction. You know what I mean? I hope these analogies are making sense, because they make sense in my head, but sometimes when I say it, I feel like, wait, but it's whatever. I hope you get what I'm trying to say, though. Just trust in God and be patient. It's okay to just be still and wait, because at the end of the day, we're all raw dogging life. We do not know what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone in the next 2 minutes. The only thing that's guaranteed is that we're going to breathe and blink. And even that sometimes is sketchy, because you don't know. You literally don't know. So, I'm sorry for coughing. So yeah, I just want to say glory to God for everything that he's done for me and everything that he's going to be doing for you, because God has a plan for you, and it's big. And I trust that you will get there. You will get to your path. You will find your purpose, and you will work towards that purpose, however it looks for you. But I just want you to understand that working on your patience is going to be critical for your growth. Because if you cannot wait and stop yourself and just allow things to be, how are you ever going to feel calm once you get everything you want? You're always literally triggering your nervous system to constantly react when you don't allow yourself to be patient. You can literally be a control freak and get everything you've ever worked for, ever planned for. But the moment you cross everything off that list and you never accepted patience and you never worked on that patience, you just were literally control freak and on go for the past however long. Once you feel that, once you get that realization that, wow, I have everything, but like I still feel like I need more, like you're never going to like you're never going to feel still, because now your nervous system, all it knows is go. All it knows is react. All it knows is problem solve. All it knows is you know, it just knows that cycle. You have to train your body to be still. Your body heals itself when it sleeps. And being sleep is literally the only time we are dead, we're still, you know, like we're literally mellow and relaxed and everything like that. So train your body to do that when it's awake. Train your body to understand that it doesn't need to be in fight or flight all the time. It doesn't need to be figuring out the next problem. It doesn't need to be planning 15,000 steps ahead. It doesn't need to be figuring out the next goal after the next goal after the next goal and planning for this and that and this and that when you haven't even checked off step one. You know, be chill, do some yoga, you know, like meditate, literally be still, because the works, like the greatest works happen when you're still, literally. And when you trust that the work you've done is enough, and that when it's far past your capabilities of doing more, that you've done enough for there to be some motion. You know what I mean? Like, know your capacity and stay as close to the edge of it as you can. Like, still always like try to boost your capacity up, but once you reach your limit, know your limit and stop. Don't overwork yourself. Don't burn yourself out. Don't push yourself to the far end to where you literally collapse, because I've been burnt out before. I've overworked myself. I've done it all, and there's no better peace than knowing I've done all I can do. The rest is in God's hands. Okay? That's why I don't work long hours anymore. That's why I don't do all these different things anymore, because I value my peace. I value my serenity. I would rather work 7 days a week, 2 to 5 hours a day, than to be off for 3 days and then work 12 days for 4 days. 12 hours for 4 days. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather work every day for a short amount of time than have 3 full days off and work 4 full days, because I know my capability, I know my capacity. I'm burnt out at that point. I cannot work 4 full days, 4 hours, like 12-hour shifts. That's a lot. That's OD. I don't know how you nurses do that, but I can't do that. So know yourself, know your limits, practice patience, practice meditation, read your Bible, trust in God, and just pour all your worries onto Him. He will literally figure it out. And God is good. Glory be to Him. I hope all this made sense. I did ramble a little, but I feel like everything I said was facts. Like, yeah. So I will see you guys in the next one. And I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day.